Good morning, how are you today? I hope everything's going good. We're having gorgeous weather here in the northern suburbs of Chicago. It's beautiful outside. I hope it's the same where you are. Today we're going to talk about a film that was first shown on Mystery Science Theater 3000 on February 3rd, 1990. It's a 1957 film called The Black Scorpion, starring Richard Denny, Mara Corday, Carlos Rivas, Mario Navarro, and many others. Now this is the Mystery Science Theater 3000 episode in which Crow and Tom talk about Joel's odd behavior at night while he's sleeping, while at the same time Gypsy is trying to pretend to be a giant scorpion. Every horror you've seen on the screen grows pale beside the horror of the Black Scorpion. Note, the management reserves the right to put up the lights anytime the audience becomes too emotionally disturbed. We urge you not to panic or bolt from your seat. Now, is there anybody out there who saw this film back in 1957? If so, did you feel the need to bolt from your seat as you felt emotionally disturbed? Now, for those new to the show, while I'm going to talk about a film that was shown on Mystery Science Theater, I'm going to talk more about the film and not so much about Joel and the Bots, though there will be some talk at the very end. Anyway, now this film stars the beautiful Mara Corday, and if you're interested in Mara at all, I did a biography of her a while back. It's long, probably too long, but if you want to hear a tale of a twisted romance and marriage, this might be the biography for you. Her marriage to Richard Long was bizarre, to say the least. Anyway, the odd part of this film was, when Mara Corday was under contract with Universal, she made the film Tarantula in 1955. Universal had plans for her to follow that up with The Deadly Mantis, a film which she called Tarantula in New York. One night, she went out drinking with David Janssen, and they both got, drunk, and she started tearing out pages from the script and making paper airplanes out of them and throwing them around the bar. She refused to do the movie, so she was fired from Universal. So what did she do? She goes to Mexico to make this film. Go figure. Anyway, apparently this started out as a demo test reel created by the great Willis O'Brien and his assistant Peter Peterson. I've never seen this test reel, but according to Bill Warren's book, Keep Watching the Skies, some of the footage was of this giant scorpion grabbing a man off a telephone pole and stinging him to death. Now, of course, Willis O'Brien, who lived from 1886 to 1962, was the man behind the stop-motion effects for the original King Kong. He also worked on Mighty Joe Young and the Giant Behemoth, all done with actual hands-on animation. The Black Scorpion would be his last picture. And this film was made soon after the 1954 movie Them, and it follows pretty much the same formula, except replacing the ants for scorpions. But since both films were done by Warner Brothers, there was no problem there. And it was filmed cheaply. And of course, money goes farther when done in Mexico. Production began in November of 1956. Now, the strange thing about this film is, for the first half hour or so, they treat the giant scorpion as if it's going to be a big surprise to the audience, like we don't know what's coming. Hey, we saw the title of the film from the poster. We know it's a giant scorpion. Anyway, the film was directed by Edward Ludwig. Edward Irving Ludwig lived from 1899 to 1982. He was born in Russia and was a director and writer. He was one of those hard-working directors you don't see anymore, directing film after film, mostly in B pictures of all different types, comedies, dramas, but mostly action-oriented films. Some of his other films include The Man Who Reclaimed His Head from 1934, The Last Gangster from 1937, The Fighting Seabeast from 1944, Wake of the Red Witch from 1948, and The Flames of the Island from 1956. The Black Scorpion was near the end of his career. The writers of this classic were Robert Blees and David Duncan. Robert lived from 1938 to 2015. Some of the films that he wrote or co-wrote were Magnificent Obsession from 1954, High School Confidential from 1958, and Dr. Phibes Rises Again from 1972. David Duncan lived from 1913 to 1999, and some of his films were Monster on Campus from 1958, The Leech Woman from 1960, and The Time Machine also from 1960. Let's talk Mara Corday. She plays Teresa Alvarez. Mara was born Marilyn Joan Watts on January 3, 1930, and as of this recording is still with us at the age of 94. She married Richard Long in 1957 and remained married to him until his death in 1974. It was one of the most bizarre relationships in Hollywood history. The films that Mara starred in that would appeal to this crowd were Tarantula from 55, The Giant Claw from 57, and Girls on the Loose from 1958. She was also in the Clint Eastwood films The Gauntlet, Sudden Impact, Pink Cadillac, and The Rookie. Remember the Go Ahead and Make My Day scene? She's the waitress that's in danger. You see, Eastwood was a good friend of hers and would give her small parts in his films so she could keep her health insurance. Pretty cool of the guy. Dr. Hank Scott is played by Richard Denning. Richard lived from 1914 to 1998. He was in such films as Unknown Island from 48, Creature from the Black Lagoon from 54, Target Earth also from 54, The Day the World Ended from 55, and The Creature with the Atomic Brain also from 1955. All classics as far as I'm concerned. In the 60s and 70s, he did a lot of television. He was married to Evelyn Akers, who you might know from The Wolfman from 44. In later interviews, he would claim that Mara Corday was all over him and they were close to having an affair. This is something that Mara Corday strongly disagreed with. In fact, she wasn't too happy that he made this comment and said it couldn't be farther from the truth. Carlos Rivas plays Dr. Arturo Ramos. Carlos was born Oscar Weber and lived from 1925 to 2003. He was born in El Paso, Texas, but began his career in Mexican and Argentina westerns. His first American film was The King and I from 56. He was also in such films as The Beast of Hollow Mountain from 56, They Saved Hitler's Brain from 63, True Grit from 69, and Topaz also from 69. The child Juanito was played by Mario Navarro. Navarro was born in 1949 and very little information is known about him. He had a very short acting career, mostly in Mexican cinema, but the few films in the US that he appeared in were The Beast of Hollow Mountain from 56, Vila from 58, and The Magnificent Seven from 1960. Beyond that, I can find nothing. So what is the Black Scorpion? We start with a violent volcano. A narrator interrupts to tell us how bad the people of Mexico have it.
For centuries, the prayers of Mexico's peasants have been their only shield against the devastating furies that have wrecked their homes and destroyed their lives. And so today...
After the credits, we see that the local volcano has calmed down a little. But to check it out, two scientists arrive, Dr. Hank Scott and Dr. Arturo Ramos. They talk and talk, so we, as the audience, can see just how charming they are.
How did you get permission so fast? For my group, I mean. After all, red tape and that sort of thing.
Simple, just told them the truth, that you needed me along as an interpreter.
They meet two workers, one up on a telephone pole, and we get the feeling that they're not long for this world. Hey, what's that noise? What could it be? Hey, see the title of the film. With their Jeep overheating, they find a small, apparently abandoned home. Something bad has happened, and a police car they find is in bad shape, with the officer missing.
Where's Sergeant Vega?
He's not here. No one is here.
A mystery is afoot. Now what's making that noise? A rattlesnake? Nope, just a baby. Hey, but keep that unnecessary gun pointed towards the child. Oh wait, there's the missing policeman. They dump the baby off at a local church and then have a little dinner while they discuss the mystery. It seems there have been a lot of strange deaths lately, and what could be causing them? Again, see the title of the film. The next morning, the two scientists resume their research. But what's this? A pretty girl, and she's fallen off her horse. Her name is Teresa Alvarez. Could this be the start of a romance?
I've fallen off Lucero before. Not for many years, but I really can ride, gentlemen.
And then while Dr. Ramos is looking for her saddle, he finds a strange rock. But I have a question here. How did her saddle fall off? I mean, I'm not an equestrian, I've never been on a horse, but I think saddles are usually strapped tightly to the animal. Isn't that true? Anyway. And I'm with these people. Living next to an active volcano doesn't sound like a good idea. But Teresa convinces her workers to stay.
Let me ask you this. If your patron, my father, were alive today, would you become frightened of sounds in the night and run like silly children to the safety of the village?
I guess their lives aren't as important as her cattle. Whatever. Anyway, there are other scientists on the case. They give Teresa a ride back to her ranch and hang out for a while to shower and such. They meet the boy Juanito, who is an irritating little brat, if you ask me.
If you don't know how to behave, I have to send you out.
Remember that strange rock? Well, that's odd. And finally, 30 minutes in, we meet our title character. Remember those workers who were working on the telephone lines? Hey, we all knew this was coming. And next, they go after Teresa's home. At the same time, the volcano erupts again. The following morning, things have calmed down, and it's time to come up with a plan.
What weapon do you intend to use?
Gas. Poison gas. It has been proved effective against Norva species. Let us pray it works against the Scorpion Eater X.
They're going to head out to find out where these scorpions are coming from. And Juanito really wants to go but is told no. I hope he doesn't stow away on the Jeep. So they find the opening in which the scorpions have been emerging.
This looks like a job for us, Doc. Of course.
Is it really? It's not up to the military? They need 2 geologists to help? I don't get it. Anyway.
Hank, you don't have to do it. Neither of you. It's not your responsibility.
I wholeheartedly agree with Mrs. Alvarez. So they go down into the cave to the lair of the monsters. Down in the pit they discover a lost world situation. All types of terrible things crawling around and fighting. And the film goes from the Black Scorpion to many Black Scorpions. Look who stowed away. Now wait, let's go back. Look at the size of that cage they are being lowered down in. So there's them, all the equipment, and there's still room for a 7-year-old child, and they didn't notice? I know, suspension of disbelief, let's move on. And of course, the young child puts all their lives in danger. He gets chased by a giant tick or something, and then there's a thrilling, terrific battle. They manage to escape, and the military blows up the entrance, in which they assume will keep the scorpions from making it to the surface or killing them or something. And all seems right, and now we have time for a little romance between Teresa and Dr. Hank to blossom, as they take some time to relax in Mexico City.
I like you very much indeed. And I want you very much.
But there are still scorpions alive, and the military has to trick the 2 doctors to come back because 2 men who study rocks are apparently the only ones who can battle overgrown scorpions or something.
Did you suspect? No, I don't think so.
But after a lot of talking, they agree to help fight. And now we know a big battle with the monsters is coming, and the film is almost over. Yet we have time for a romantic dinner.
Nice dress, nice girl.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you can see me in something else beside those clothes I wear at the ranch. For 2 days at least.
So am I.
Now, to make a long story short, a couple of scorpions attack a train, killing many passengers. But during the attack, the 3 scorpions fight each other, leaving only 1 alive. So now we have our definitive title character, the Black Scorpion. People run and our heroes talk. But they have a secret weapon, and people keep running. Look, they know the monster has a weak spot under the chin, So the idea is to trap the monster in a sports stadium using a bunch of raw meat as bait. It seems that the beast has plenty of humans to eat if it's hungry, but I guess the raw meat works. Anyway, the idea is to shoot it in the weak spot with a projectile which is hooked up to a power line carrying 600,000 volts. One thing, Mexico, in the United States, we have an Air Force and they have planes that carry pretty powerful explosives, and maybe we could help with your situation. And no, you want to do it yourself? Okay, I get it. Anyway. And even though they know the only way to kill it is with this electric weapon, they keep sending soldiers to their deaths, including those in a helicopter. Teresa Alvarez shows up. Why? I'm not sure. I guess so they could have a happy ending.
Señorita Alvarez, we have not yet finished.
Neither have we.
Oh, and don't worry, they did kill the monster, so everything's cool. Now, you know, if you're like me and you have a fondness for films like this, you probably enjoy this film, though I have to say that there's a lot of slow moments, a lot of talking and not enough action. But I get it, stop animation was a very expensive process at the time, so anyway. The music might be the best part of the film. It was composed by Paul Saltel. Paul lived from 1906 to 1971. He was a Polish-born film composer who did music for such films as The Scarlet Claw from 44, The Devil Thumbs a Ride from 47, The Son of Dr. Jekyll from 51, Kansas City Confidential from 52, It, The Terror Beyond Space from 58, The Fly from 59, The Last Man on Earth from 64, Faster Pussycat Kill Kill from 65, and many, many more. Now, as far as Mystery Science Theater 3000, well, they only cut about 4 minutes out of this film. So you've already seen the complete film, basically, if you've watched their episode. And that's the way I would advise watching it, because like I said, there are a lot of slow moments, and the wisecracking by Joel and the Bots really helps out. And this film has one of my favorite Josh jokes. Let's see that now.
Hey, you see my haircut? Hey. Look, I got a haircut too. Look, haircut, 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 haircut. We all got a haircut.
That always makes me laugh for some reason. But now why don't we watch a little bit more of the best of MST3K.
Is created by the mysterious and rebellious forces of nature.
Horny, broad-voiced announcer uses his mighty voice to put fear in the viewer's mind.
Remote countryside.
Let's make s'mores later.
Okay. Did you bring the kraut?
No, I left them in the Volvo.
What's behind this tree? It's a dead cat!
That's right, Bob. It's a 1953 Signora Policia, complete with 38 snub-nosed revolver, dilated pupils, and rigor mortis. You, too, will sleep soundly in your own Signora Policia.
Oh, is that good?
I'll say it is. It's obsidian.
Oh, I don't think it's that bad.
The milling festival over, the citizens are loaded onto flatbed trucks like so many cattle.
Hey, quit shoving back there. Hey, cut it out.
Sunday, 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 we turn the floor of the Signora Desert into a giant blood pit. It's machine meets arachnid in one-on-one action. Go-Go the Gorilla and all-time powerful Meister, Big Scorp.
Oh, come on, everybody. It's just a big bug. Ain't you ever seen a big bug before? Come on, nothing to worry. Whoa, what the? Gary, get out of my way.
Well, the only way we can find out is try to go down there ourselves. What do you say, Doc?
What, are you
Dr.
high?
That poisonous gas.
Lower and lower we go, traveling past the matte paintings.
You know, even if they catch that thing, they're gonna need a lemon the size of a Volvo to eat it.
Oh, great, it's a wood tick. He's gonna get Lyme's disease now.
Quick, get a lit cigarette.
By this time, my lungs were aching for air.
What happened to Hank?
5 miles.
Where we could live so that the animals could be bred and slaughtered?
Some are flooded.
We at Amtrak would like to apologize for any inconvenience it may have caused. This rarely ever happens.
Oh, nice move, but I gotta wonder if there wasn't a little contact with the ground there, and that would nullify the play.
Now, while your scorpions are being cooked, you could fix up a nice salad that could be done when you're ready to serve.
Mara Corday said in an interview with Tom Weaver, it's anticlimactic. Once they get rid of the scorpions in the cave, you think, well, that's the end of the film, and then I'll be damned if they don't come back. It's ridiculous. And she actually said that they filmed 2 or 3 days near an active volcano.
Well, there she is.
Yeah.
Next week, we're going to do the 1966 film Women of the Prehistoric Planet. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot to talk about when it comes to that film. It's the final film with Dr. Earhart, and the final film is J. Elvis playing the voice of Tom Servo. I want to thank you all for watching. You don't know how much it means to me, and I really appreciate all the comments you guys leave. They're fantastic. Very few, if any, negative ones. They're all pretty positive, and a fragile human being like me needs that. Thank you for watching. I'll be back next week. You take care, and if you're like me and have this gorgeous weather, enjoy it while it's here. We live in the Chicago area, and we don't get a lot of nice weather. Take care. Bye-bye.